Okay, folks, I tried posting a video this morning before work. It was a really good video, and these agents cut it off at 20 minutes. What they do is they collect points against them, and then they will block good points, which I've brought up. Without a doubt, this has happened. It's standard operating procedure. What I want to do is get into the night of the radio blog. At the end of it, this chat room by phone, I guess you could call it. What I want to do is get into that and explain a few things. And in fact, they're starting to hit me right now with this. I feel this. They're doing something. Anyhow, I've come back from work. The coffee is worn off. The ginseng is worn off. And they're also making me more tired than I already am. I guess what I want to first start off with is a situation with our bird, the Laxshmi here, the white bird, the female. Starting at the end of March, early April, I noticed that she was really tired all of the time, and Horvat and her officers were doing this to me as well. Now, they were also letting me get deeper sleep. I haven't gotten a lot of rapid eye movement type of sleep, deep sleep in, really more than a year. And they began doing this, but they also began making me more tired than I was. This is without question. And so what they were doing was affecting me and our bird Laxshmi at the same time. And this is how Horvat does this. She makes attacks on me. She attacks usually my daughter with the same thing at the same time, or friends of family. Maybe somebody here in Germany, maybe somebody's back in America. This has happened repeatedly. I got witnesses to this. Now, we ended up taking our bird to the vet, and she is, quote, sick. Now, I guarantee you, this is also being done with technology. Horvat layers things. And the interesting thing here is that I noticed this, yet after I noticed this, they began blocking my observations. I still check the birds every day, what have you, but they're blocking my observations that something was wrong with our bird. And then finally, on the 11th of April, or not the 11th, I forget what day it was, but at some point, I think it was the first week of April, my girlfriend brought up that there's something wrong with Laxshmi. And then all of a sudden, I remembered my noting that there was something wrong a couple of weeks before. And I noted that I'd been going to the birdcage every day, yet had forgotten all about this, even though it was quite notable that there's something wrong with her. I'd start to notice something, it gets squashed down. And this is how this technology works. Many times you can remember points where you had blips on your radar. And then when you go back and review your memories, you see where you were affected. And this is really important because Horvat and our officers get this, and I get this, I imagine, better than a lot of people who may even be familiar with this technology. So these are important points. As a point, they'd give me foot pain in my left foot, and my daughter would have the same thing in the same foot. I could guess what foot it was every time that she had foot pain. They're breaking up me and my girlfriend back in 2009. I called up Keith and Kelly, and they were breaking up. And I told her I'd been having dreams about them breaking up, and I knew that was Horvat and our officers. The thing is, I thought that they were in touch with another group of agents with this technology back in America. I didn't know to reach out overseas. I thought this was a group spying on my parents. Keith and Kelly live maybe 15 miles away from my parents, so I'm looking at the range of this technology. And which was a big point for me up until June of 2011, when Horvat proved it could reach out overseas. But the point is, I told Kelly, I've been having dreams about that for months now. And in reality, there was no other group of agents working in tandem, together here with Horvat and our officers. It was Horvat and her officers breaking up Keith and Kelly and causing all sorts of big problems with reverse scripting, same as with me and my girlfriend. And the situation with me and my girlfriend had been going on for years. And that involved reverse scripting my girlfriend very much, all of the time, actually. They've got this computer program which they put on me from the beginning, in which they had on my girlfriend for years, in which they still put on my girlfriend at times. They've got it on my daughter now. It's tightness, hostility, computer program. It involves blocking your feelings of love as well, and your memories. And this is what they're doing to my daughter, and they're still doing it. Another point, I think they've got what I call this brain squeeze autopilot on my daughter all of the time. In 2006, when they revealed this technology to me, this is what they began doing to me all of the time. It's a few steps below dementia or something. You're just like, it's the chipmunk ray. It's the Horvat and her officers keep referring to it as the blonde ray or the Barbie ray. And this is what they're doing to my daughter. Her mind is not still like it normally is, and she's just spinning all the time. And, just talking, and just, she's not herself. She's not centered. She's not balanced. Now, within this, my girlfriend, because of stalking, has been told, not to speak about this anymore, blah, blah, blah. So within this, I try and step within the boundaries that have been set for my girlfriend. And, because she gets attacked heavily with Techno, and she gets very scared also, and aggressive. And Horvat will affect her and make her even more so with Techno, depending on Horvat's motivations. And, I've been saying to my girlfriend, Amber needs to, have less computer time and, less things which take her outside of herself, radio, TV, what have you, And the point is, Horvat can take that out of context. Now, I'm quite aware of the computer programs. I'm quite aware of what is going on. This happens slowly, year by year here. And as Horvat did more, I learned more, and I kept an eye on more. That's the whole point. I've watched this step by step, bit by bit. Anyhow, Keith and Kelly are witnesses, are proof that Horvat's affecting other people in very serious ways with this technology. I called up Keith and Kelly again on December 28th of 2011. Horvat and her officers affected me heavily, getting me to drink, and they blocked my observations of how much I was drinking. Then they took it off, and so I could feel how drunk I was. And then they blocked the feeling of the alcohol. Then they amplified it even more than it was. And they did this all, maybe 30 times inside of a single phone call, just to totally screw me up. And I had the same thing happen. Actually, less than on December 28th of 2011, but I still had the same thing going on at the end of this radio blog. And, I had to stay focused to deal with the level of alcohol and push through it, which I was capable of. I was still in my zone, and Horvat and our officers knew that. And this is why they kept hitting me with these computer programs. And these computer programs actually simulate me looking more drunk than I am, which is how it all started. I pointed out that they were slurring my words, which they were. I wasn't that drunk, was the point. And they do this when I make cassettes. They force me into drinking, but I'm not actually that drunk. There's no point in me doing cassettes otherwise, They've done it on video, and I point it out. I don't have a problem with it because the problem here is not the alcohol. And that's why I pointed out that they were slurring my words. I wasn't running and hiding from anything, And I didn't speak out about the drinking and everything. Horvat just hit me with more computer programs, and then maybe I ruined everybody's little spiel here. And then, well, that'll be it. And I had a lot that I wanted to say, which is the other end of it. They spiked that phone conversation with subjects they wanted brought up, and they even got me to state things which are inaccurate and which I don't actually believe. And that was not the alcohol, not at all. And, Horvat's using alcohol as a cover story. And the other interesting thing is, for the last 2 to 3 weeks before I called in on this radio blog show, I've been wanting to post a video about how they use alcohol as a cover story. So it's not a coincidence. And they've been sitting on me, on my willpower and desire to get it done, and doing all sorts of other things as well to get me to not post it. But the main thing's been sitting on my willpower and desire to do it. I had to fight through that just to even start this video that you're listening to now. Now I got a lot of points I want to bring up. Getting back to our bird Laxshmi. Um, uh, the situation with Laxshmi is that they're adding layers with technology. Laxshmi shouldn't be sick at all. And they made her sick. There's no question of it. What Horvat's trying to do is hide the situation with our two birds, Meera and Dipsy. Well, Dipsy was a young, healthy bird. He was the second one killed by Horvat, and he just died instantly with no warning. Yes, they had made innuendos about sleeping sickness and a tsetse fly from Africa, which they found out from me because I know a lot about biology, and they made Dipsy very sleepy the afternoon before. But he was a young, healthy bird. He grew up in freezing conditions outside, where it was 15, 20 degrees outside. And because the owner kept them very strong and healthy, and they lived in a cold environment. They were kept outside, folks. So there's no argument to Dipsy. And he was killed right before Easter, which is a theme of Horvat's, the holidays. And yes, I will be getting new information here. And the same thing with Meera. Well, they made Meera sick to begin with. They're communicating all of this, and then it's happening. And, it's not simply a matter of this technology putting words to my thoughts. Not at all. Or my cheap expectations of what they would say. Not at all. And the point is, we got Laxshmi, Meera, we got Meera medicine. This is our first bird that they killed. And Meera started to get better, and then they said, well, we're going to kill your bird anyhow. And then they started blocking the effects. Our birds start getting sick all over it. Long, slow, painful death. And Horvat's doing this halfway with our bird Laxshmi here. We also gave her antibiotics. She was improving, and she's sick all over again. Hello? And Horvat's trying to cover things up here. And what do I tell you? These are our pets, and they are our family. And Horvat's been making her very sleepy, like with me. And she was doing this the theme, doing me and a family member at the same time here with the same techno tactics. And the same thing with Keith and Kelly, breaking up my family, breaking up their family. When I called up Kelly and spoke to her on December 28th of 2011, the first thing she brought up is, hey, the last time we spoke, you were telling me you're having dreams about me and Keith breaking up, and you were breaking up with your girlfriend. Hello? So there's a witness to that. Ex-girlfriend Dawn on the phone. What was it? May 20th or May 25th, 2012. Told her the name of my book, Don't Tread on Me, and she's like, hey, I got a flag with that on it out in the yard. And, I said, wait, don't tell me when you got it. I said, let me guess. And I said, first of all, you got it in 2011. She said, yeah. I said, don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me what month. And I said, you got it around April. She stopped and thought about it, and she said, yeah, like I'm psychic. No. That's when I named my book. You understand? And I knew that Horvat and her officers were watching Dawn based on the windows they gave me, for the last year. And I knew that they were spying on Dawn and watching Dawn with this technology. So there's more proof. Manipulating people and, getting them to do things with Techno and spying on them with Techno. And reverse scripting them with Techno in regards to Keith and Kelly. Horvat doesn't like good people. Sorry to deal with it. Instead of looking at the skin color of their jobs, instead of looking at the skin color of their job titles, why don't you try looking at their psychology? And why don't you try looking at it from there? Horvat is an egotistical psychopath. She is megalomaniacal. That's without question. And, why don't you start taking a good look here? And in regards to our bird Laxshmi getting sick, this is not this Techno responding to my thoughts, which obviously they're selling to people at agencies, from agencies. This technology is responding to thoughts or putting words to my thoughts. Look, once they revealed this technology in 2006, they began sending me texted messages, personal messages from them to me. I didn't have, quote, voices until, March or April of 2009, so I'm very familiar with this texted message stuff. I know the smell and the flavor. And yeah, they try and camouflage it. And what do I tell you? They know, and I know, that they get shot down all the time, every goddamn day. This whole thing that you're all agents and you're all in one boat and you all follow the same imaginary rules, and I can appreciate your deep ethics here and standards in regards to stalking. Wow. No, it's a corrupt, illegal program. It is about spreading corruption, and Horvat and our officers get it better than anybody, and they get that the whole thing's about corruption, and they live totally corrupt. And from their point of view, a lot of the other people from agencies who, quote, have standards here, just a bunch of goddamn fools. Horvat's just taking advantage of it, and she's just a pure form of what this program represents in one way. So, so those are some points. And again, in regards to this brain squeeze that they've got on my daughter, it's just like she's in chipmunk mode all the time, like a chipmunk on amphetamine. She doesn't begin to be herself. It's not hormones. Horvat and our officers take it off of her. They've done this for the last week, leading up to Mother's Day, they did, by the way. And she was her normal self, and there's a huge difference. And then, of course, they traumatized us by affecting my daughter and me on Mother's Day. Go figure. And we got past it. I tell my girls we don't stay focused on what's done to us with technology. What's ours is ours. What's theirs is theirs. And we can't stay in what somebody else does to us with Techno. The whole point is it's not ours to begin with. So we got through it, and things are fine. But my daughter's still being affected. I am, As another point, Horvat took this energy print off of me. For the first time in a long time. They didn't let it last very long. And I have this written down. This was on May 9th. And what do I tell you? The difference is huge. And then they began putting computer programs back on me. And these extended feelings and thoughts. It's like they're showing me how they've layered me with this technology. And they began relayering me with the techno. And the difference between how I normally am and how I am even now is enormous. Come on, folks. You have to wake up here. It's like I said at the end of this radio blog. I don't have time for Pee-wee's Playhouse. You are not like Horvat. Horvat is a hardcore psychopath. And this whole thing of relating through agency is a big pile of shit. You're relating to her psychology through her job title, which is stupid. I'm telling you to get past the skin color of their job title for a reason. That's not how to do profiling. Excuse me. So Horvat, anyhow, has made our bird Laxshmi sick, and this is to, no doubt, sell bullshit stories for hiding killing our two birds. In regards to misusing these computer programs at the end of this radio blog, no doubt they've sold it as halfway true. In other words, they've sold it as stuff which they've spiked me with as being mine, which it isn't. And then in regards to me pointing out the computer programs they misused for getting me to state things and other things as well that they did, things that they were doing to affect me, they will state that as being delusional on my end, which is total bullshit. So you're getting played half and half here. You're getting played 50-50. They're coming at you both ways so that you see everything totally incorrect. No, they got me to bring up all sorts of subjects that weren't mine, even got me to state some things that I don't believe. and that's for muddying the waters so that you are less believing and skeptical about the hardcore points in which I do know and in which there is no question. Let's see, I think they had me bring up the fires in our neighborhood. No, I don't think that I have nothing um, to go on in which they didn't make any clear references beforehand. They've been saying where there's smoke, there's fire. Yes, we have had a lot of fires in our neighborhood lately. In the last, certainly last year, less than that. But that's just something I know and have my eyes open on. It's nothing that I believe they have done. Do you understand? I have nothing to go on. As another point, this woman on Plantanen Strasse, the old woman. Well, there's certainly more that points to them killing her with cancer, but again, I'm less certain about that. And that has a lot to do with how I was being affected at the time. And as a point, they killed 2 dogs from that street, and I was in denial. You know, I finally went back through the innuendos. Maybe I'm in denial about this old woman. But the point is, they have there's some things that I'm absolutely certain of, and things which are more, uh, um, less certain, 50-50, or at least, I consider it a possibility. Some things are much more certain. A lot of the pets that died in our neighborhood died with clear innuendos. There's no question of that one. We got a lot of dead pets here. Horvat was targeting family and, extended family. These pets that we used to visit in our neighborhood, I'd take my daughter, teach her how to bond with nature and how to be good with animals and how to click with animals, from the very beginning when she's a small child. I do this quite consciously. And then people are going to believe that all this heavy behavior with my daughter is mine. Hello? You people look at the linear history tapes, please. But the point is, a lot of innuendos, and then these pets began dying. Just amazing. We've had like 10 pets gone from our neighborhood, and we love them very much. Um, Other situations, this guy Heavy D, who I brought up again, I'm not certain about it, and they got me to bring that up in the first place. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. I had to tie that back in. Horvat officers are aware of this. They get me to bring something up, and then I've got to make a point from this, and the point from that, which they got me to bring up, by the way. But since they quote brought it up, big point I've been wanting to bring up about that is they spiked my video about Claire's mother with me bringing him up. No, I've never been certain about their involvement with that. Yeah, I got innuendos, but I am not certain about it based on when that guy got sick. And just, I was being bombed very much with technology and affected very much so. That's a mystery. And there's no way I would have brought it up in this video about Claire's mom, Bettina's mother. That was Horvat's choice because she's playing a game of 50-50. I get to bring up the obvious and what is very clear here. And but then she's going to spike my video and get me to bring up stuff where it's less certain and more unbelievable and harder to see. It's just unbelievable for people. And, that's the whole point. I wouldn't bring it up if I'm not certain about it to begin with, which is why you don't see me bringing up the stuff with the old woman. Yes, you will see me bringing up stuff with pets. That's without question. Many of these innuendos in regards to the pets was just beyond coincidence. And, I'm not psychic here, folks. This is stuff coming out of left field and being thrown at me. And I'm asking myself, what the hell are they getting at? What are they up to? And then something heavy happens. The pet ends up dead. And many times these innuendos are being given. I don't even know what the hell they're referring to. But then it becomes obvious once the person is dead or the pet is dead. Hello? For more traumatic shock. And Horvat's sick and sadistic. Please, somebody let me know when you wake up to that. And yeah, I get the difference between normal people in charge of stalking and, quote, doing their jobs and a psychopath. hiding behind their job title. So please insult my intelligence some more with your great wisdom of textbooks, please. I traveled all over the place, many different people in charge. Nobody's been the way that Horvat has been. Hello? So you can stop insulting my intelligence. And you can start by listening to what I'm saying here. And you can start trying to deal with the reality that my family and I live with. It is your job to catch these people. When you find out that they've killed people, German citizens, and created a shooting between two federal agents, then I think it becomes your goddamn job to get to the bottom of everything. Horvat's been trying to hide this whole evil ghost thing in my temperament. There's a situation with my boss. I went into that, the whole way out there, set up. And then they got me to forget, and then I went back in. They took the Techno off. I realized how heavily my boss is just walking all over me, blocked my observations. And of course, hardcore thinking is that the whole thing's a setup. I went back up there and confronted my boss. Hello? Yeah, I already went into that, And that's so they can rebury this whole Night of the Evil Ghost thing. As another point, situation with Bettina's mom and the evil ghost with my kid and the Night of the Evil Ghost. That wasn't to scare me. They tried putting me in prison the Night of the Evil Ghost. They tried putting me in prison. Horvat wasn't so familiar with me, and I'm, especially back then, very well disciplined. And I went and called my parents up right away. They tried putting me in prison. It wasn't done to scare me. And Horvat tried keeping the theme and playing with it and scaring my kid. And then later this evolved from a ghost to evil space aliens. And, the evil ghosts and evil space aliens were holding me and stalking. Hello, which is another point. They were holding me and stalking with the Techno. My girlfriend's a witness to that. My girlfriend is a witness to the fact that I was saying in regards to Bettina's mom, I think something bad is going to happen to Bettina's mother. And, I think something really big and heavy, maybe she's going to die here. And my girlfriend remembers this. I checked this year, I checked last year. I brought this up with her, and I said to my girlfriend last year, I said, obviously, there was no psychic intuition of children or spirit guides or angels. I said, obviously, it was Horvat and her officers with Techno. So you have to look at things from my girlfriend's perspective here. And yeah, you can see the gears clicking in my girlfriend's head. So, yeah, my girlfriend gets that her girlfriend's mother was killed by Horvat and her officers. My girlfriend's seen Horvat and her officers get away with everything. And my girlfriend is doing whatever she's told because of stalking. And again, they've got my girlfriend poo-pooing technology now with my daughter. And you ask yourself, and yet for years on end, all three of us have been speaking openly about it. And you ask yourself how psychologically healthy this is for my daughter. It has been used undeniably on all three of us, because for years on end, Horvat was doing it without her energy, especially to me and my daughter, and also my girlfriend at times during these years. They did a lot of reverse scripting with my girlfriend. They've not affected her as much because then she figures out more. And so a lot of how my girlfriend has been affected has been with her energy print, which is what they're doing to my daughter all the time now, because it's hard to see and it's hard to grasp when it's being done to you. And especially with this tightness and your computer program. So, these are all main points. It's undeniable. Horvat was involved with the death of Bettina's mom. They tried putting me in prison. These are the first 2 years with Horvat. She held me in stalking. That one, again, undeniable. The Night of the Evil Ghost, last day is stalking. Killing our bird Dipsy on the last day is stalking. Both birds right before the holidays. One before Christmas, the other before Easter. Hello? All of this speaks of the behavior and the temperament of a psychopath. And there is no, Horvat is not like the usual person in charge of stalking and in charge of this technology. Do you understand? She doesn't recognize boundaries. She could care less about agents and agencies beyond being caught by them. And And, what do I tell you? The more unbelievable she is, the less likely she is to be caught by the people from agencies that I've dealt with, obviously. Yet, you can look at her, Horvat having a guy masturbate at the library and then letting him be caught by police, being deliberately unbelievable. And again, I didn't press charges. I figured it's a trap. I got no rights. I got no money. So they got away with it. And obviously, Horvat's very familiar with this tactic, or she wouldn't have used it in such heavy circumstances. So you've been played, not me. And quite frankly, sorry, I have to say that people are being delusional here when they're buying into Horvat's cheap technology tricks and cheap lies. Why do I bring up a lot of the smaller points and issues here? If I bought into stalking all the way, is this about stalking for me? Not at all. Many times Horvat gets away with her lies in regards to things by cheap, simple, dumb lying. So I try to cover my bases. As it turns out, she's tricked me in regards to all sorts of things here. And it looks like I'm all hung up on stalking. No, we have other issues at stake here. I'm just trying to get people past certain points and issues. Thanks for clearing that up with the one video. But that said, for that individual, you're still off on another plan. And, you seem capable of being able to grasp Horvat here, and so do some of the other people I've spoken to on this radio blog. And I'm asking you all to put your heads together and really pay attention. I covered a lot more material this morning. I am tired. They are affecting my willpower and desire to get things done. And I'm going to get to bed here in a moment. I want to make sure I've covered some basic points. Yeah, so in 2006, they had this brain squeeze autopilot on me. Your brain just keeps constantly spinning. You keep thinking, and, if you're speaking that way, you just keep blurting things out. Well, this is what they're using on my daughter all the time. And it's disgusting. Horvat's doing it to be sick and sadistic. Okay, I need to go into how being altered with Techno alters other things. Again, you may notice things along the way, and if they whip out your observations, later when you think about it and they have the Techno off of you, you can pick these moments where you started to catch on and then they blocked your observations. Seems to me that they can do it on such a minute level you don't even have it. And they can pre-block your thoughts is another thing. As a point, I was close to figuring out that Horvat was a psychopath going all the way back to 2003 and 2004. I was very close to figuring it out. And Horvat just blocked out my ability to realize that she is one. I call it thought block. That's undeniable. They gave me amnesia in regards to Bettina's mother. If they weren't guilty, they wouldn't have done that, by the way. Because they didn't want me bringing up with my parents and my girlfriend in 2006 when they revealed this Techno. They didn't want me bringing up the night of the evil ghost with my parents and girlfriend, and the situation with Bettina's mother and the children, and the psychic intuition of children, or spirit guides and angels. They didn't want me bringing up both at the same time with my parents and my girlfriend, because it's goddamn obvious. And they weren't prepared. Do you understand? And that's why they blocked out my memories. And they also did it with my girlfriend. She didn't remember any of that until I brought it up with her. So, what do I tell you? This technology has been misused strategically all along the way here for a long time. And in regards to key points, if it's really important, it's guaranteed. Standard MO. I wanted to post videos right after this radio blog. And they're reverse scripting me despite my videos. And, this goes on the whole time, and I pay a price. I either wait a few weeks until they take the Techno off of me, and then I get to speak out without having a whole lot of problems, or I try speaking out, and I spend a lot of time cleaning up stuff because they keep spiking. And what they're hoping to do is just trick people behind the scenes during that time lapse. What Horvat wants, it looks like this is already true, that her version of reality, which is all false, is sunk into people's head and cemented in people's heads, so that by the time I speak out, nobody listens, cares, or believes, or even tries looking or thinking very deeply. Last time I checked, it's called programming. And Horvat's quite conscious about what she's doing here. I've seen this repeatedly over and over and over. Um, uh, Next point. Horvat tricked me with the N test. Looks to me like I had the N test on, I don't know what day it was here, but here in May. And so I got tricked and suckered. But you got to understand, Horvat's been holding me in deliberately with this Techno for years on end. So the one time she plays fair and honest, it looks like I'm inaccurate. Look, man, she's been holding me in deliberately for years on end, and she's trying to cover up her tracks on that. That's real simple. All July of 2011, nuking me and my family with Techno all the time, girlfriend in bed all the time, uh, with really uncomfortable torture programs on her. My daughter coming up to me all the time that, I got bad feelings. I'm being nuked off the planet. They're trying to break my family up the whole goddamn month. And then on the last day, Horvat had my girlfriend, and I got into this. I know it. But my girlfriend, then they had my girlfriend pretending to be affected with Techno very heavily. Of course, I took evasive. Took my daughter. I said we're walking home, and I explained things to my kid. And my daughter also thought that my girlfriend was being affected heavily with Techno, and I got held in for speaking out about it. Hello, the BFL was being mocked. Everybody from agencies was being mocked, and it was the same thing here with this N test this May. So there you are. Um, let's see. Some more notes. Yeah, in regards to reverse scripting, I am being scripted hundreds and thousands of times a day. I'm being reverse scripted. They have this technology putting words to my thoughts, and then they're pushing in a feeling of believability, like I believe that. Or what they're doing is it's forced. It's scripted. And if I don't tell it to f off, they leave it on. And when you get the Horvat is misusing technology for better lying and manipulating people behind the scenes, then you get why I'm not helping them out. Hello? So I'm being reverse scripted every single day here, all of the time. And this is without all Horvat sex stuff. So anyhow, that's it for this video. I'm going to go to bed here. Thanks for listening. And yes, I have cassettes, very important ones, gets into everything about Horvat being a psychopath and these early years, which I have to post. So what do I tell you? Stay tuned.